Good morning, good afternoon, good evening YouTubes, wherever you may be in the world, and welcome to a beautiful sunny Kent spring day. Kent spring day? Spring day in Kent? You get the idea. And yeah, I know the Speedo drive's still a bit whiny. I put some oil down it. It is a lot better, but it needs to come apart properly. But obviously that could be a job for Simon. That will give him something to do, something to fettle on his beautiful steed. So today it's a bit of a bittersweet day, if I'm honest, because this is potentially my last ride on the LC, because the oil pump arrived day before yesterday. And I got it fitted yesterday morning, and I've got a bit of time today before I go to work, so I bled the pump through, fitted clear fuel lines, so we can see the oil going through the lines, which I always used to like, rather than the black lines, because the black lines always gave there. Is there oil in there? I know there always was, but just in case. But yeah, so what I'm going to do today is I filled the oil tank up with the two-stroke that I had and ran that through, because there was a little bit of old two-stroke oil in there, so I've drained that out. So we got fresh Castrol, whatever it was, 2TR, whatever it was, and that filled up probably about a third of the tank. And then the oil light was still on, still glimmering, so I popped to Lagunas and bought the only oil they had that was of decent quality was some Motorex competition two-stroke oil, and it was 25 quid. I know it's only 25 quid, but that's a litre. So obviously that went in, and now, as you can probably see, no oil light, so we know that the level sensor's working. So we're running now on excuse me, on the old boy. Had a nice little look at the LC there. That's the thing about these old bikes, you get people of a certain age who will stop their gardening and have a look just to see what's whizzing past, and we all go, oh, I remember when I had one of them, or you know, those are the days. But I'm gonna head down to a bit of gravel, head down towards Rye and give it a bit of a waz, just to make sure the pump's working. Look at that, no clutch slip. New clutch plates with it, some PVC plates, so the clutch is all lovely as well now, because it was a bit knackered. I mean, I did my best to salvage it, because if you can salvage parts, it's always better to use them. But no, they were long gone. So you could buy cheapy ones, but Simon, being the sensible guy he was, he chucks it of VVCs in there. Just because you've got known quality, it means that the bike hopefully hasn't got to come apart for many years. So today the idea is, obviously I've chucked a full tank of super unleaded in it, so we are now running on pump only. So today's idea is to give it a waz. I started off at 100 miles, I've done 14 miles already. Give it a waz out down to the Romney Marsh, Rye area, and then what I'm probably going to do is head towards Folkestone and then come back on the motorway, so that it can sit at motorway speeds. Just keep it on the temperature gauge, which is nice and stable, and make sure everything is fine, because the motor has done 115 miles since the rebuild. But all is well. The oil, when I drained it out of the gearbox, was pretty mucky, with a few little bits in, which obviously were the parts that I just couldn't flush off the gearbox, and then parts of the gears that I couldn't get to scrub the worst of the rust off. So obviously all that was worn through, so that was dumped at 100 miles with a whole fresh load of oil, so we're all good to go now. I will say to Simon that once he's done maybe 1,000 miles, just to dump it again and refill it with fresh, just to keep an eye on it. But it's all good. In fact, it's but it is bloody lovely. I do love this bike. I will be sad to see it go, you know, genuinely sad, because although in some of my, especially my earlier videos when I was cleaning it, I hate cleaning, you might have gathered that, maybe I wasn't quite so happy. It did take me a little while to get on with it because of the muck and the cleaning, but once I broke the back of that part of it and started to do the proper stripping, cleaning and reassembly, that was when my enjoyment factor really kicked in, because that's what I love doing. I love being out in the workshop. It's my little bit of therapy, out in the workshop, spanning me away. Plus it is for a very good friend who has done me a lot of favours in the past, and if he's watching this, he's probably thinking, you know, why has he gone overboard and all this sort of stuff. Well, the reason was, Simon, you might remember a long time ago, I had a relationship that ended, and it ended when I was moving out of a house, and basically I had nowhere to live, and Simon gave me a place to live for, it must have been 2-3 months, in a very small little cottage with him and his wife. Wouldn't accept any payment, wouldn't accept anything. So that's the sort of friend he is. So if you're wondering why I've done this, Simon, now you know, because when I was in my hour of need, you were the one that stepped forward and helped me out. So I wanted to get this done for you, and it's done, and it's lovely. So yeah, today will be bittersweet as you wang it down through the lanes. It's so tractable. Look, I don't know what gear I'm in, but 3,500 RPM, and it calls for, I was in 4th, no, I was in 5th, but yeah, it's riding lovely. So where's it down the lanes, which I've already said, I'm going to keep saying that because lanes is what I love doing. It'll get the tyres scrubbed a little bit more because they're not properly scrubbed, and then some miles on the motorway, and then it'll be ready for him to collect. We're hoping, if we can wang it time wise, to get a couple of days where Simon can come to my place, because he lives over in Worcestershire. It's a couple of 100 miles. He comes over to me, and then we both ride back together, which would be a lovely day's ride. Plus it means, you know, you always had that little thing where, because you rebuilt it, you just want to make sure he gets home. Not that I've got any doubts, but there's always that little niggling, have I forgotten anything? Did I not measure something correctly? Did I not adjust something? You never know, do you? Well, you do know, because you spend a lot of time and effort and care in putting stuff together. But it'll be a lovely ride, like the old days, wazzing it down to Worcestershire, and then I'll probably spend the night at Simon's, and then ride back home again. So that's the plan. So what I'm going to do before I sign off is, let's just see if I can find somewhere just to park up, and you can have a look at the lovely LC. A last look. Well, it might not be a last look, I might do a little video as we ride back, but it'll be a last proper look. So if you have watched the LC rebuild and you've enjoyed it, suspensions and what it was like. Oh, should I park in front of the camera? That make a good photo, wouldn't it? There you go, that could be the thumbnail. So I'm learning about YouTube, thumbnails and all that sort of shite. Get down, you bugger. So there we go. A little bit of water on the back, I know what that is. That's a little tiny bit of coolant from underneath the side panel, where I stopped and topped the oil up. I topped the coolant to max before I left home to let it take its own, get its own level. So there's a little bit just coming out the overflow there, but yeah, there we go, people. The LC burbling away there. Just waiting for the mudguard. I think Rob's probably going to end up sending that straight to Simon. rather than to me. It's lovely, isn't it? So if you've watched these and listened to this sad old man getting sentimental about two-strokes in his youth, thanks very much. Like, subscribe, all that crap. And it's done. What more can I say? So if you're riding, everyone stay safe. Enjoy this beautiful weather if you're out, wherever you may be in the world. And keep it sunny side up. And I'll see you on the next episode of, well, whatever I do really. Rebuilding a bike, talking absolute shite as I ride. You get the idea. Right, let's switch this off and snap a couple of pickies, shall we? Right, take care all. See you soon. I can find the button.